Hello, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is your host Sam Capizzi with CryptoSomniac, here to bring you everything crypto related, where the rich never sleep. Today, I present to you a new ICO called genesis.vision. So as mentioned, this is an ICO review of genesis.vision. I must disclose that this was a paid ICO review, and I want to thank genesis.vision for making this possible and allowing me to sustain myself here on the YouTube channel. So thank you. I'll try to keep my opinions as unbiased as possible, though I do like a lot of what they have to offer. What they are is they're seeking to bring the traditional investment world to cryptocurrency. Very similar to companies, say, Brickblock or Black Moon specifically. And we'll talk about how they differ towards the end of this video. So let's talk about the team. So we'll start there. So the CEO, his name is Ruslan Kamensky. He is, again, the CEO. He's their blockchain expert on the team alongside co-founder Dimitri. He has several years experience working on the St. Petersburg Stock Exchange in Russia. He is their principal software developer. He also worked at an IT consulting company called EPAM Systems, headquartered right near actually where I used to live in Pennsylvania, and he was their senior backend developer. Additionally, their co-founder and chief operating officer is Dmitry Nazarov. He is also a blockchain architect, having also worked at the St. Petersburg Stock Exchange. So a lot of the guys, when I did my research, came from a lot of areas in the the traditional stock exchange and stock markets. So good to see that they have experience in that world. He's a senior software developer as well. He had worked at a company called Data Art, an International Atomic Energy Agency. So these, again, are the two co-founders. I chose to pick or talk about a couple of different other guys part of the team. Alexei Kunsenko. He is basically their finance expert. He's the owner and CEO of a company called Tula Broker, Inc. And then we have Vlad Roskov. He is their infrastructure security architect. He's working currently at a place called Kaspersky Lab, in the Financial Incidents and Investigations Department, and he is the security guru here at the team. He is a competitive hacker, actually, having worked on a number of different things and teams and projects. He's the team leader of More Smoked Elite Chicken, one of the, I think he was ranked at #1 at one point, maybe last year or the year before, according to a website in Russia. So he is, again, a competitive hacker and basically trying to break their system, see what flaws he could expose. So let's talk about genesis.vision. So genesis.vision is comprised of three different individuals: the investors, like you and I, managers, and then brokers. And they are very, they all operate as they would in a traditional world. So managers manage and hold the funds, while brokers go and actually buy and sell the things that the managers want to invest in. And then the investors are the people that, like you and I, would invest in different things. So these are the assets currently under management, the number anyway. In 2014 and 15 alone, over $70 trillion of money was invested or under asset management. This number has been rising pretty steadily over the last several years and pretty much every year. So there is without a doubt a market here for genesis.vision. Though, like I said, they will be competing a bit with some of the others, and we'll talk about that soon. So the problem in the traditional world, and one of the things that they're trying to fix, is the transparency involved in all these parties. So the investor has to trust and believe the statistics that he's provided from by the broker. Additionally, the investments that the manager makes with that money is gray. there's not always an ability to see exactly what you're investing in. For example, you might invest in Vanguard and you have mutual fund A or investment fund A and investment fund B, and it's very difficult to see where exactly your money's at, how much he made, are they reporting the right things. So there's a lot of transparency here that is lacking. Additionally, there is not a lot of opportunity to invest in cryptocurrencies or cryptocurrency baskets through, traditional mediums such as your Scottrades here in the US or E-Trade or any of these other traditional financial platforms. So additionally, Genesis Vision will be opening the doors to be able to invest in cryptocurrencies and a wide variety of them all through their platform. And just to sum up these points, again, there is a lack of transparency. There are a number of fraudulent activities made due to the lack of transparency available to your average investor. There is no place to really find consolidated, reliable, information or statistics all in one place where you can read that. So again, this is what Genesis Vision is trying to do. They're trying to innovate upon some of these outdated trust management systems that are currently in place. So the solution that they present is listed here in this diagram. So you can see the investors on the outside here of this circle. They operate here with the managers in between two different currencies known as the Manager's Token and the Genesis Vision Token. And what that is, so the Genesis Vision Token is the token that is native to Genesis Vision. It will be tradable on exchanges just like your traditional currencies, or cryptocurrencies rather. So you'll see it added to these different exchanges, Bittrex, Poloniex, Binance, whatever exchanges they form partnerships with, and you'll be able to trade that, and that'll hold value based upon how many people are using the Genesis Vision platform. The part where it gets a little bit tricky or hard to understand is when you invest in a specific manager, you receive back a manager's token. The manager's token is a cryptocurrency in of itself, only exchangeable internally on the Genesis Vision platform. So your GVT tokens are exchangeable outside. The manager's token that you receive is the manager's token, and it's only tradable either back to the manager at some point after you're done choosing to invest with him, or through with other investors inside the Genesis Vision platform. So you receive the manager's token, and as his choices of investment continue to grow, that manager's token becomes more valuable, and you get a return on your investment in that way. Now the managers operate with the brokers as well, and they use they send buy and sell orders to them. But again, you receive the manager's token, and that is tradable inside Genesis Vision's platform with other investors or back to the manager when you're done. So there are two coins to be aware of: the manager's token and the Genesis Vision token. And the managers each have their own token. So each manager has their own cryptocurrency. So if there's 1,000 managers, there could be 1,000 cryptocurrencies for all the managers inside of Genesis Vision. So I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit tricky to understand, but it makes a lot of sense when you break it down. So some of the advantages for investors, there's a number of them, starting with basically access to managers from all over the world. So they are pairing with existing funds of basically different institutions out there already that currently exist. And this set of managers is not limited to any one set of financial instruments. Investors also will have the ability to invest in cryptocurrencies as well as with fiat, so you can invest either way. The transparency in profit distribution is all there. It's very clear. The better availability of investment portfolios for any request is something they also provide, whether that be low risk, moderate, high, low. So there's a lot of choices. Additionally, there is protection due to the fact that managers have all of their trades listed out and they can't be faked. They're utilizing blockchain technology to make everything immutable. And then now, like it says here in this last point, investing is now just a transfer of money, but the purchase of cryptocurrency remains liquid through this entire process and can be resold at any time. There are also additional advantages for the private managers and fund managers. So there are, increased opportunities to attract investors from anywhere. Investors or private managers aren't limited to investors from one part of the country or one specific country. The transparency and fairness, again, in the report construction guarantees fair competition amongst all managers. So managers, altering their results isn't feasible in this scenario or environment. There are many opportunities to be able to promote your own trading strategy to attract more investors. There is increased investor confidence, again, due to this transparency, which will in turn lead to more people using their platform. And again, managers can issue their own branded cryptocurrency tradable amongst anyone inside the platform. Again, there are also several advantages for brokers. There is no centralized company. The company is decentralized and is represented by all network members. The brokers have an opportunity to attract investors from all over the world, again, very similar to the managers. The participation in the network is free with identical terms for all participants, which is an added bonus. The software, again, that is needed, and I don't think I mentioned this actually, is free. So it's going to be basically like a plugin that brokers can use on their existing platforms, and it makes it very easy to basically enable their current existing platforms and open them up with Genesis Vision. And I saw in their white paper they have about 400 partnerships established already with brokerages from all over the world. Due to the openness and transparency of the software, brokers can ensure that their data isn't being compromised or disclosed. Brokers also have the right to do any marketing and use any methods of attracting new managers. And again, the system does not require any information about the broker's client base. The only information that is required is the manager's trading history, which will then be placed onto the blockchain and visible for all. So a lot of advantages here by moving this to the blockchain. Again, this is the platform structure, which is kind of a zoomed in vision of what we showed you earlier. So managers send profits to investors in the form of Genesis Vision tokens. So when you invest and you want to sell back your cryptocurrency, your manager token, you will receive back Genesis Vision token, which you then can sell on their exchange or externally on some of the other exchanges. The manager's tokens are what you will receive from the managers or from other investors. So you can trade. You can see here on the outside of the circle the manager's token amongst other investors. So if someone thinks, someone wants to buy that token increases in value as the fund manager continues to do well. So there are two different types of currencies inside their exchange, the manager token and the Genesis Vision token. Now, again, this is a little bit of background here on the platform structure. So the broker's existing trading platform will work very simply with Genesis Vision. There will be an integration plugin that goes right onto the existing platforms, interacting with the blockchain of Genesis Vision, which is built off of Ethereum. And brokers will be able to transfer money to the manager's trading account, all according to the transferred funds of the investors. And this will all happen in real time. So the plugin will allow this transformation from the existing brokers trading platforms to work with the Genesis Vision network. This is a little bit list of some of the actions and applications that will be built. So some of the basic actions native to some of the investors. So the investors will be able to view a list of the managers as well as all their history, their trade history that they have made up to that point in time, and they'll be able to make a decision on whether to buy a trading manager's tokens, on the internal exchange. Some of the functionalities for the managers include viewing all the actions of the investors at the end of their periods. You can view a list of investors. You can view your own statistics and trades and the history of them, as well as create and deposit funds to configure your own trading account. So that's some of the basic functionalities offered to investors and managers. Some of the most frequently asked questions. This is a list that I just compiled myself between me and my partner here at CryptoSomniac. These were some of the questions that we had posed initially to Genesis Vision after reading their white paper that we thought might be good for you guys to know as well. So what kinds of assets can managers manage? Virtually anything, traditional fiat currencies, the traditional stocks, as well as cryptocurrencies and cryptocurrency baskets. So a number of different assets. One of the questions that we really wanted to know is when you sell a specific manager's cryptocurrency, is it person to person? And indeed, yes. So again, this all works internally on their exchange. So they have their own exchange where you can sell a specific manager's token to another person, or basically sell that back to the manager if you would choose to want to withdraw funds. All of it will be settled at the end of your reporting period, which I think could be as long as 3 months, and you can set your reporting period to whatever you want. I think it could be a week or a month, or I think the maximum is 3 months. One of the questions I posed was, if no one is buying a specific manager's token, then how do people convert back to Genesis Vision token? So this is a bit of supply and demand. So if there is no demand for a specific manager's token, you are not able to sell it to another person, and you're forced to sell it back to the manager at whatever loss, if there is a loss. So minus any of the investments that the manager has lost. So if, say, you invested $1,000 and that turned into $700, you could withdraw your funds immediately. If there was no one else to sell that manager's token to, you could end the partnership between yourself and the manager and receive your money at the end of whatever agreed reporting period upon that was. Do managers' tokens have to be purchased via Genesis Vision token? So the answer to that is no. You can invest via GVT or traditional fiat currencies. And then, can managers liquidate their assets if they no longer wish to manage their funds? So yes, they could submit a request to do this at any time they so wished, and they'll be able to liquidate their assets or receive their equivalents by the end of their reporting period. So whatever they currently sit at, that's when that is the amount that they would receive at the end of the reporting period. And lastly, I want to compare them to Black Moon, a very similar project out there. So there are a number of things that Genesis Vision does a little bit differently, and I think acts and functions a little bit differently from Black Moon. And the biggest one, in my opinion, is that they are seeking to work with traditional and existing brokerages and unite them all on one platform. So Black Moon, meanwhile, is creating their own, basically, funds and baskets and cryptocurrency investment vehicles from scratch, whereas Genesis Vision is reaching out to existing brokerages and providing that platform and plugin to basically work immediately with some of these companies. Black Moon is keeping this all sort of in-house, where they're creating their own funds on their platform. Again, Genesis Vision will be reaching out to existing ones and make it very easy to convert into, you know, what they're doing in this cryptocurrency world for the existing, basically, brokerages. So I think it has a real leg up on Black Moon. Now, it will be interesting because I see a lot of the comparisons overlapping, and they're definitely working in a similar market. So it'll be interesting to see who can do it faster and better. But again, I think Genesis Vision has a little bit of a leg up in the fact that they're not creating their own management and funds from scratch, whereas Black Moon is doing that. Now let's talk about the ICO. So they're creating something that I haven't seen done prior. So they're creating what they call options, which started a couple of weeks ago and still running until, I believe, October 15th. What this is an ability for investors to invest in a fair manner without being constricted to waking up at odd hours or too late before the ICO sells out. They're offering Genesis Vision options. And what they are is basically an ability to invest early. So you make a decision as to how much Genesis Vision you want to buy right now, for example, and you pay right now 5% of that desired amount. And what will happen is come the first 24 hours of the ICO, you'll be able to pay for the rest of that initial investment that you had agreed upon, the other 95%, and basically purchase it all, or purchase the rest come that day within the first 24 hours. You are not obliged to purchase all of it if you don't wish the initial investment that you claimed, but you won't be eligible for any more, at least until the first 24 hours goes by. Now, about 30% of all Genesis Vision tokens will be available through options, so only 30%, the other 70% will be open to anyone who wasn't able to purchase an option. And there is a bonus structure. So for the first 20% of the Genesis Vision option, you'll receive a 30% bonus. For the next 30% of Genesis Vision tokens available through the option, a 20% bonus will be given, and then the remaining 50% of available GVT tokens will be a 10% bonus. So you do receive a bonus by choosing to invest in their option. Now, the program start of the option was the 15th of September, and it'll end October 15th, where people will be able to purchase GVT after that initial 24-hour period. The end date will be November 15th, and the token rate currently is $1 to 1 GVT. Now, they are seeking to raise a maximum of $33 million, and they are also looking for the funding share for the options program, again, is $10 million, which is about 30% of the GVT. The number of tokens in supply is 44 million, and the GVT up for sale is 75% of that, or 33 million. And to give you guys an idea of what the price of a GVT will look like based upon the bonus structure here. So it follows this formula where a GVT is the, let me skip to the next slide. So AGVT is the, I forget what AGVT stands for, but basically the price of a GVT will be figured out by here, this 1,000 over 1, which is the initial investment that an investor chooses to make. So this number could be, 5, 10, 100. We're going to use 1,000 in this example, plus the bonus structure, which it depends upon at what point you invested in the option. So if, for example, you invested $1,000, you would receive 1,300 GVT tokens. Now, the cost per GVT token will be 1,000 minus 50, which is 5% of the total amount again. So that's the amount that you have to invest in upfront or initially, divided by that total, 1,300 GVT, to give you an evaluation of 73 cents per token. So this is for any bonus investors that invested during the option. So if this number was, say, 520%, you would get a different number here. Plug that down in the bottom and then take 5% of 500 to give you this number here. So just to give you a rough idea of how much your GVT tokens will cost you. Now, options are non-refundable, so you cannot get that money back, that 5% back, and they can be exercised partially. So if you don't choose to invest the entire amount at the launch of the ICO or that first 24-hour period, you do not have to. Again, they are only available for the first 24 hours, the options, and then all tokens will be released to the public at that point. This is an Ethereum-based token, as I mentioned earlier, so built off of the Ethereum blockchain. The token distribution will look like this. So again, 75% will go to the ICO, 11% will be dedicated to their team, 9% to marketing and bounties, advertising, and then 5% to a Genesis Vision fund, which it will be used to incentivize managers and attract them to the platform. So they'll use this money to invest in managers themselves on the platform to help stimulate the growth of Genesis Vision. And it looks like that's it. So thank you guys very much for watching. Please leave your comments in the video below. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts, especially in comparison to some of these other exchanges and platforms out there similar to it. And before I go, let me actually break free to their website. So I did have the white paper up here. They're over on genesis.vision. So take a look yourself, read the white paper, the team, tell me what you guys think. Again, the option program is available now. The ICO will launch on the 15th, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Hit that like button, that thumbs up button. What that does, it allows other people in the community to know that this was worth watching. So thank you very much for tuning in, and join me here tomorrow. And remember, stay a cryptosomniac, because the rich never sleep.